So this is the walkthrough of the frequently made mistakes for assignment 1A. This is a preliminary walkthrough. I'll do a complete walkthrough after I've reviewed everybody's code. First of all, please make sure you document your code thoroughly and please format your code consistently. And I'll try to talk about that as we go through some of the examples below. So please get in the habit of documenting each of the stream operations. So factory methods, intermediate operations, terminal operations. That's the easiest way to tell what you think that you're doing. That'd be number one. And number two, please format your code so that each of the operations is on a line by itself. Otherwise, it starts to run off the end of the screen and it becomes very hard to document what you're doing. It becomes very hard to read what you're doing. It becomes very hard to comment on what you're doing. So make sure that you format your code thoroughly and consistently. So here's some issues I saw with perform crawl. This particular code has the wrong Java logical OR operator. You need to use the logical OR operator, not the bitwise OR operator. And also there's just a bug in the code. So you have to look carefully at the conditional expression there and make sure you understand what it's doing. Please also get in the habit of calling map to int directly rather than calling map followed by map to int with integer int value. Much more concise and readable and canonical to do it with the map to int first rather than doing a secondary conversion. This filter expression is just too complicated. There's no need to write it with all these question mark, colon operations and false and true and so on. So please see if you can make that a little bit more simple. Now let's talk about yet another problem here, another way to improve things. First, please get in the habit of just returning the results of these streams. You don't have to store things in a local variable and then return that local variable. That's one extra step that you don't really need to do. And please combine the two filter calls into a single filter call. There's various ways to do that, but you don't have to put them into separate calls to filter. And also, please use find first followed by or else here as opposed to sum, because there's only one entity that's coming through this. And using sum makes it look like you're summing up something, but you're not really summing anything. You're just taking the value and returning it. Let's now talk about some issues with crawl page. Again, please don't use local variables here, but just return the results of the entire stream. Please also get in the habit of using method references wherever you can, instead of using Lambda expressions. Your IDE, in this particular case, Android Studio, should prompt you to do this automatically. So it'll do the conversion for you, and just be on the lookout for that. Please also get in the habit of using objects, non-null as a method reference, instead of using the type of Lambda expression we see here. Again, it's just a little bit more clear at a glance what's going on here, filtering out null values. Once again, please get in the habit of using map to int directly rather than using map followed by map to int. And then again, please use find first followed by or else here. Now let's move on to process page. Please use get elements as stream instead of get page elements stream. Just a little bit more streamlined, as it were, and more optimized for this particular use case. Please avoid using an if-else statement, which requires some additional syntax, actually a lot of additional syntax, and instead use the ternary operator, properly formatted. It's easier to read and easier to understand. And please also use the map to int here above here in this map call, rather than doing map to int down here with integer int value. Again, just more concise. Here's some other issues with process page. Once again, you don't need a local variable. And secondly, please don't split this up into two streams. You can do this whole thing with a single stream. And if you do that properly, then you can use the ternary operator, as we just talked about, and that'll enable you to do everything in a single stream. And please, again, use map to int here, and then you can use sum instead of reduce. So that'll make things a little bit more concise. And there's no need to have this code here separately. You can all merge that into the code in a single stream. And also, please use get page elements as stream as opposed to get page elements followed by dot stream. Here's some things I saw with process image. Once again, please get in the habit of using a method reference, not a Lambda expression. And again, please merge the map and map to int to be just map to int. For transform image locally, please get rid of the local variable. We don't need it. And please, in this case, please split the call to map into a call to map followed by a call to filter. And that'll help to make it a little bit more clear what's going on and a little bit more concise. And also, please use the objects non-null method reference instead of using a Lambda expression here. Once again, just makes it a little bit more clear what is actually going on and what the intent is. So that's a summary of my preliminary pass through the frequently made mistakes. For those of you who haven't submitted the assignment yet, please make sure to submit it by tomorrow night, because that's when it's due. And also would strongly advise going through the frequently made mistakes discussion we had here, which I'll post shortly, and then making sure that your code doesn't have these problems. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to come to my office hours on Wednesday or post questions on Piazza.